Hello. Welcome. We've already started. So, I did get all 3 items we need. The quest. And we also have too much power. With a lot of blue.
It's what will you do?
Yeah, I'm going to take along. There's Lyric. Yeah, Archfim. I do kind of want Daric. I'm wanting a sword master lately, but I mean, I guess I could outfit him right now. That was really the big roadblock to using him. And oh, they're high. Jeez. Guess Samerta.
Very well then.
Anywho, Paracel is... I've forgotten if it's a... Yeah, it's a hard C. Howdy, Cal. I have decided she will be our ultimate death guard. Well, potentially, Lyric could also be our ultimate death guard too. Celestian and Browning. Main reasons you can kind of guess, because if I have a Divine Herald in the backline, it's either a Brownie or Celestian, and want the Death Guard to be the other race. That way we have access to Chain Blast. Or Hajia's Bowl, or whatever else we need. For now, I'm thinking of keeping the Herald as a Brownie. Because of the healing, but I might switch him over to Celestian for the damage. Don't really know. Divine Herald. Yep.
I expect great things from you.
Yeah, let's get this quest handed in.
What'll it be?
This guy was a bit shady and or inept, right? Right, like he didn't quite believe that we were the ones who are who we are. Alright. Did you get the ores from the 6th stratum? Were you? Let's have a look then, shall we? Oh, no, that's impressive. Never seen anything like it. So you really can handle the 6th stratum. Sorry I doubted you. Your skills are rather something else. Like, you should know I'm not the one who made this request. I mean, I'll be making the pickaxe, but Miss Myrna is the one who wants it. He asked me to make it on her behalf, so no one would know she wanted it. And when she did, she had a real strange look on her face. Like something bad's gonna happen if I just make the pickaxe and give it to her. Well, it's a lot to ask, but seeing how you guys are so strong, I have to ask a favor. Please, help Miss Myrna any way you can. Make all kinds of requests, so Miss Myrna's helping a ton. Not just me, anyone who uses this place. So for all of us, please, help Miss Myrna. Thanks, knew you'd help. I'm gonna head back to my shop and get started on that pickaxe. You guys go talk to Miss Myrna. See you around. Alright, report. Yep, it's report.
Thank you.
Oh, good. You managed to find all the materials for the pickaxe. Let me just get your reward.
Huh?
Is there anything I want to tell you first? What are you talking about? You know, don't you?
I'm sorry.
How do I put this? Ah, forget it. I'm sorry about lying to you. Just didn't want to drag you into my drama. I would like to just let her keep going, but I also feel like that might get taken the wrong way. So, how do I respond? Remember that guild I told you about? The one that took on a quest to collect materials on 419 and got attacked? It's a request involving the forest. I thought they understood that you have to be prepared to face such risks. But the requester and the adventurers who took on that request made no complaints towards me either. Both parties agree I'm not to blame, but it just doesn't sit well with me. I'm the one who sent them out there. I thought they could handle the requests. I'm not the one putting their life on the line. If I were to look at the intel more carefully, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. I realized that, I knew I couldn't just sit by. That's why I want to make things right. Yeah, make a request. Well, why would I do that? Wait, do you want to help me? Anything for... all I have to do is ask. You guys... Glad I could talk to you about this. Feels like a weight's been lifted from my shoulders. Thank you. I need some time to clear my head first, though. Don't worry, I won't do anything reckless. When I'm ready, I'll come find you all. Until then, just hang back for a bit. Oh, that took longer than expected. I'll get your reward and we can call it a day.
Thank you.
Triple formaldehyde. Nice.
What'll it be?
Alright, point one is I want what?
Okay. Okay. A new one. A new one. Okay. 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 Okay.
I don't think I'll bother with weird for now. Average film, let's see.
So good.
Yeah, I know you have headphones, Alyssa. Whoever else happens to be here better have headphones too. Gonna be a neato spam of that. Well, it depends on which skills I go for. I don't really know what. Oh, was one of the chests triple formaldehyde? Or was it 3 formaldehyde in a row? Another one's nice, though. Might go for Tombstone Vice, since it's one of the 3 sources of petrification. But I also feel like building her more towards support with Life Exchange, but I don't know how good Life Exchange is. Let's see, we can inflict poison, curse, ice, fire, and petrify. We also have... yeah, they have a weird set. I know what skills I want, but it's like... I don't have a full... I can't think of how to use every skill point. We can medicate too. Hey, medicate 2s are still useful. Medical 1s, though, yeah, those go in the trash. I think it kind of depends on the game. I remember some games a Medica could heal like 80 HP. And I forget which ones exactly it heals 80, which are, yeah, that's pretty good. But most games it's like 20 hit points or maybe 50, which is nice for like the start of the game when you have no materials and no cash, but that very quickly becomes insufficient.
So good. So good. So good.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know what exactly I want to invest in right now. Like, maybe Grave, but Grave will require a Dragoon or something. But if Grave can select a Wraith, then we could have another Necromancer use Fear Shield, and then, oh boy.
So good.
That's just banking on a possibility, though.
Got it.
Radio Dargeth. Alright, you got that mastered. Yeah, I know I was going for Bolt Slash and Mirror Moon before for a bit of a quirky build, but I kind of prefer just to stick with the basics, I think. Maybe high ground. High ground should be good.
Got it.
Yeah, usually.
How's that?
Then there's Daric. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm still not fully sure what my front line's going to be like with the Death Guard and Divine Herald in the back line. The reason I say that is that I would have brought a Deathbringer, except Auto Miasma has a little condition here on it. Will not activate if another party member uses it first. Auto Miasma only triggers once. Can't have them both start off with Miasma armor. I mean, it's not a huge deal for Deathbringer, but it is kinda, especially since I'll see if I can. I'll have to think about parties that don't have a Deathbringer in them, because Deathbringer really is good. Wait. When I played 5 on my DS, I didn't really use a Deathbringer. Except for like the second stratum, I think. That's before Masteries. So okay, I guess that's definitely possible, but like right now I have a hard time imagining a party without a Deathbringer.
Which would you like to tackle?
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of did. I mean, it's still possible. That just means that everybody else has to pop Miasma armor on their first turn, or a debuff to proc Endless Shroud. Yeah, because Death Guard skills don't really rely on having Miasma armor, it's just Atonement in Miasma Wall. Those are the only two advanced skills that actually require Miasma armor, unlike Deathbringer, whose whole kit requires Miasma armor. Just maxed it out because I think, like, yeah, that'd be neat, so you don't have to like hope you proc Endless Shroud, which is a 67% chance at level 10. It's like a 34% chance at 5. It's like, oh yeah, don't have to worry about proccing Endless Shroud, and given you have multiple turns and multiple debuffs to throw out, it seems likely that you'll get it procced by the time it should run out, but without Auto Miasma...
Can't wait to see what you can do.
Right, we do have that quest to accept.
Make yourself at home. Which would you like to tackle? This one? Thank you.
Thanks for taking on my request. Remember that guild I told you about? The one attacked by monsters on 419? After reading through some logs, I realized there's a monster hiding in the labyrinth, attacking adventurers. Seems it's some kind of snake one from Chimeria. According to reports, he's a vicious monster called Belania. One's been able to slay her, but she's too dangerous to leave alive. Heading here on 419. Been there before, do you remember? There's a hard crystal here blocking your way. As you probably remember, I had a little something made to take care of that problem. Here. You should be able to get past those crystals with this. One last thing to ask you. Let me come along. Don't make a decision now. I'll be waiting on 419. Tell me when you get there. I'll be counting on you.
What'll it be?
Oh, that is cool. Yeah. I do know that they did pretty severely nerf pugilists in Nexus.
Can't wait to see what you can do.
Pugilists are... They can get very... Okay. If you know the Muscle Wizard meme, you know what a pugilist is.
Ah, it's you.
Anywho, I'm not fully sure if this is the party I want to bring along. But it's the party I'll start out with, because ever since like the 4th stratum, it's been pretty solid.
I expect great things from you.
Alright, I already assigned skill points, and it did not have memory conch, so... Yeah.
Oh, welcome back. Do you want to save? How can I be? I hope to see you back soon.
Alright, as far as roster goes, because I know that might bother somebody,
What will you do?
the ordering, I think beforehand, was by class. Afterwards, new characters, it's just been like how they've been added, but then I have a dividing line here with Naomi for retirement. So people who have gone through, who've taken a leave, a temporary leave, they are in the second half and haven't really organized it either.
Is there farewell?
If I remember correctly, I think yes, F10 does change the screen arrangement. Oh gosh, mapping on this. Oh, that's small. Yeah. I do want to look up, since you brought up Endless Shroud and Nexus, I actually do want to look that up. I am wondering if Rheumatic does have an EON playthrough. Yes, they do. Wait, it says was, not is. Oh, hopefully the skill data is still here. Let's just show you, this is the main site. Untold, I'd say this is probably my go-to resource for any type of Untold info, which, by the way, I had a few hours where I wasn't able to be at my PC, so I actually got to sorting out the Grimoire Stones in Untold on my DS. Yes, it took several hours to sort out, to use up about 50 of my 99 in Synthesis. There's a lot of people to equip stones with, and a lot of stones I want to save for other setups down the line. Trying to pick ones to sacrifice is a tough call. Also totally get why I stopped. Anywho, because of that, I'm back in Anywho. Haiku is a segue I use fairly often. Maybe not recently, but historically I believe I have. Anyhow, as I was saying. It's almost like. This LP, I'd say, is the go-to source of info, because if I go for... which one? The first time an enemy shows up, yes, it gives you this big-ass breakdown of their skills, their drops, as well as their AI. And they don't go this in-depth with the monsters in any other Let's Play that I've read from them. So even though 5 does have all the skill data and stuff, it doesn't really... It gives you the skill data on monsters too, but not really the AI data, which is what I was looking for earlier. Oh, it says was, though. Oh, hello. Huh. Yeah, this is where it was. Wonder what happened to it. Still, skill data. That's why we're here. Harbinger. Alright, endless armor. Rooting, stifling, sluggish, paralyzing. Don't mind the negative gifts. That's just Opera GX's forced dark pages. Reading the gift colors and inverting them. Kinda wish it recognized them as something to not invert, but oh well. It's an all or nothing thing with this feature. Toxic Reap, yes, my armor, and the shred. Oh, it is 100%. Level 8. No. I'm gonna try out with this screen setup, because, oh, lord. That is a tiny map. There's a reason I prefer it like this. Nice and big, but not overpowering or anything. And this, I mean, this is how it is on the DS. It doesn't really fill up a lot of empty space. And you can't even see it on this. Although I think I can swap it. Oh, hi there, Sora. When you approach the location and marked on your map, you find her waiting. Yeah, kinda. So, from what I've experienced, the feature looks for a dark mode setting in the API, and if it finds one, it toggles it on. That's for sure. Like, if the site has a dark mode, no matter how buried in the options it is, forced dark pages will find it, and it will activate it. But if it doesn't have a dark mode, it really does just invert the colors. I mean, it's not a straight inversion, it tries to do things smartly, so that way it's more like a dark theme, but there's a reason it still has the beta tag. You're gonna keep pushing me to that every opportunity you get, and let me tell you, I still have half a mind to actually do it. Which also, speaking of, I feel like I am going to buy Elden Ring, like if I can. And I probably won't stream it, or at least not stream it seriously. because yeah, the backseat gaming for one, but also I don't think I've set up my stream enough to welcome many new visitors. Like I still need to do the end card, probably some other stuff to make this look nicer. I still want minimalist because I want you to focus on the gameplay and not extra bells and whistles stuff. But there should be some bare minimum stuff to add. Like if I can add an innocuous subscribe banner or something, that would be nice. My tongue feels a bit dirty just mentioning that phrase, but I have to admit, when you repeatedly tell people, subtly or not, to subscribe to you, more people do end up subscribing to you and sticking around and doing whatever if you just keep at least gently nagging them. I don't do any of that, so all you hear are the people who really want to be here, as opposed to the people who kind of want to be here. Yeah, I got more setup to do with this stream, huh? Good, you're here. I'll get right to the point. Will you let me join you in to fight this monster? I feel partially responsible, and I can't ask you all to do this on your own. I may not look it, but I used to be a pretty talented necromancer. Something about Mira's confidence assures you of her claims. It's up to you whether to let her come or turn her down. I can move Hortensia up to the front line. I mean, she shouldn't be on the front line if I can help it, but she can handle the front line, and maybe Myrna can handle the front. Actually, no, Myrna's Celestian, never mind.
Thank you.
Don't worry about me. I can hold my own.
Let's do this.
Well, let's stop standing around and get to work. Beyond the crystal wall, you can faintly see a path leading farther. The crystals are just too hard to destroy. Couldn't get past the wall before, but your special pickaxe should do the trick. After you strike the wall a few times, the crystal crumbles away and a new path opens up. You start to continue forward down the new, narrow path. Path leads to more of the fourth stratum's crystal cavern. The wall gone, however, you become acutely aware of a malicious presence. You better be extra careful going forward. You're ready for anything. You nod in agreement to continue searching for the snake monster you come here to find. Alright, mapping with it. Oh gosh, that's... Oh, that's small. Oh, that is so small. Alright, how are we on deaths? So we got, what, 218, 272. Naomi has higher depth than me right now. Actually, that kind of makes sense. She's got a sarcophagus, cast and burst, encirclet, floral mittens. We got a Philia Zezel on 93, a floral mittens, and a milky boots. I really have to wonder why it's called 93. There has to be some significance to that. It's the newest game from Software, the people who made Dark Souls, and Bloodborne, and Demon Souls, and other games before those. And it came out yesterday. Released yesterday. And, I mean, I haven't had money to buy a From Software game since Dark Souls 3. So, I missed out on Sekiro. I mean, I can still buy it, but missed out on the whole hype and playing it along with the grow with the community phase. I want to try and get in on Elden Ring on that, because I haven't bought a new game, like, near its launch window in so many years. But yeah, since it's very much a discovery, exploration type of game, if I stream it, I'm gonna get backseat gamers, whether it's new people popping in because they see the Elden Ring tag, or it's old people who just never learned how to shut up. Which is neither of you. In fact, I haven't seen such a person who doesn't know how to shut up in a while, and in our chat. So yeah, to preserve my own experience. But at the same time, I might stream it, like, on a Friday or something. Just to get that extra boost and stuff. I mean, I've avoided all the stuff I can in Elden Ring because I do want to go into it blind. So I have avoided all the videos popping up, so I legit don't know if it's a bad port or not. It's the thing, I do remember... I remember some of the games that From Software made. I just don't remember the titles. Like, I've drawn a complete blank on what the titles of them are. Anywho, figure out who can go. Even their Trifa could go onto the front line. Probably Ardentia, though. 243, 265. Yeah. Especially with a 503 8 max HP. Jesus Christ. You see, I keep hitting the X button to zoom into the map, but we're already zoomed in. Oh. It's gonna be like that. Yeah, you know what? We're sticking with this. I much prefer a bigger map. I mean, again, I can do it like this, but I need to fill in this side space, so let's cycle back through. Oh, hello there, new enemy. Forgot you exist. Oh yeah, also another thing about future streams I've had on my mind lately is changing one of the days to like a free day. I guess I could call it. Basically, it'll be the long-term game like EO5 or Oblivion or Morrowind to be. That'll play for 2 days a week instead of 3. And the third day will just be whatever I feel like streaming that day. Whether it's the long-term game, or Warframe, or Elden Ring, or Deus Ex, or Ultra Kill, or whatever. It's the other thing I've had on my mind, and I'm not fully certain on that, partially because of tags. Hold on, let me pull back the curtain a bit. Actually, I guess I could use a text document for it, but like, it's just a lot of tags I have to make to be sure that I actually get picked up in searches, like, or more likely get picked up in searches. And I have to change all these tags, or most of these tags, anytime I change the game. Which is going to be a pain in the butt, but I guess I could just copy it into a text file and do copy and paste. Hello there. Yeah, that's the one thing I think is worse than Google Chrome, is that when you pull a tab out, it doesn't quite show you exactly if it's going to pop into that window, and it also leaves a window behind. How many subscribers do I have? It's 68, isn't it? Yeah, 68. I remember 68. Wow, that was a weird thing for MU to do. Again, I don't know what that thing does. I kind of want to kill it up front, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know what I should do with that. Yeah, 411 might be worthwhile. Oh, I forgot to check out Mirna's custom.
How do you like this? Can you handle this? Let's see you.
Well, it's Panic, so
This is gonna
kind of
hurt.
fun. Kind of fine. Yeah, for sure. Oh, hello there. Big amount of health there. Oh, hey there, Soba. It's been a long time. I guess, how have you been doing? And while I formulate an answer to your how have I been doing? Things have been busy. Very busy. I did get placed into training at a... would it be a consultancy company? I don't know, I'm getting paid to be trained to learn Salesforce as a developer, and then after the training's done in about 3 weeks from now, I should get placed at a job with the company. So I have income, and the first paycheck's due in like 3 or 4 days. So that is exciting in and of itself. Also makes me quite busy. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to mention besides that. I mean, there is more going on, but it's stuff I haven't really told others yet. That's good. How's your personal project coming along? If I remember correctly, you put one of them on hold to work on another. Yeah, it's about time. And also good timing, because if I seriously didn't get this, we might have actually ran out of money for realsies. Again, I haven't really used a necromancer much, and she is a spirit broker. Huh. Yeah, because if you haven't really told anyone deadlines or anything concrete about when you'll get it done, it doesn't really matter when you get it done. Aside from how you feel about it, like, you should have some urgency, otherwise you may end up in the development hell.
Give up! There! Amateur. Just one more.
That went well.
So close to 90.
Is something there?
Unable to come back. Yeah, I think I've talked to you a bit at length about this. If you don't have a deadline that you've announced, then you aren't really beholden to any, but if you also just keep saying, yeah, I can work on this as long as I like, you may end up going the perfectionist route of there always being something to polish or something to add, in which case you end up with scope creep, and you never really finish anything because you just keep adding and working and working. While I do wish you wouldn't beat yourself up over it, then I still kind of... I approve of the mentality of setting a deadline for yourself and feeling bad over it, because that will provide you some sense of urgency. What? No quick teleport back? Okay. I almost said the word teleport instead of shortcut, and here we are with a teleport crystal. Just when you think you're done with a mechanic. Given how far behind I know you are, Melissa, I don't even know what you're referencing. Alright, let's see. Dire Bug Stinger. One of these days I'm gonna have to go through the Monstrous Codex and get all the conditional drops. Well, actually, duh, that is gonna happen. This is a 100% playthrough. Hey, you have investors already. Unless you're just using a fancy term for like a friend giving you money. Which, yeah, it is technically an investor. I'm proud of you to have some people backing you on this financially. It's a step up from a hobby project now. Maybe you could technically call yourself an indie dev. Indie studio. Would it really be an indie studio if it's like a one or two guy at No, it wouldn't be. You'd have to actually make a development studio and name it. In which case you could still have one person. A dev studio of one is still a dev studio. Yeah. Ah. Oh yeah, they put an extra knot in there. My brain totally filtered that out. Well, I can say I'm glad and a little proud for you. Do hope it takes off. Seriously, getting a career doing what you love is probably the best thing you can wish for in this current world. Yeah. Sorry, I guess not a career doing what you love, but making money doing what you love, which includes a career in what you love. Anywho, what is this thing? Panic, paralysis, blind, no poison. The fuck are those skills? Weak to fire, weak to light blind. Wait, there's Gates of Hell. And hey, I've known you for... How many years has it been now? Definitely over a year, but it's been 2 or 3 years since I've gotten tangled up in your life. My guest character gets put to sleep. I don't know if that's just rotten luck or if she actually has low luck. Hey, level 90. There's a shortcut back.
Is something there?
Yeah, it would have been. Because you were there during the streams, like the latter half of my Oblivion playthrough while I was modding it. Which is also when I got over my depression, because the modding gave me a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Which, yes, it's like 2 years ago. Oh, no teleport. Okay. How's I coloring these gray? I colored them gray because they are mechanics. Okay. So more than likely, it's going to be like that. Okay, good. So there is a shortcut here, because otherwise, how do you fill in that space? The game's been going rather smoothly. I mean, the biggest hiccups is just waiting for stream days to actually make progress. Because I hit a point where I can't really add new party members to the Vanguard party unless I equip them. But to equip someone costs like 500,000 Ental, and we make like 40k on a gathering run. It's just really tedious to farm up the Ental to equip one person. And I got to advance, not only to break the monotony, but also to get more farming points. And I have those now. And now I can make like 400k Ental in a day. In a game day. Like we have 700k right now. So it just overcame that hurdle. Oh, hello. I want to test if that would actually happen or not. Which means that side should... Actually, no, it shouldn't. There's no space there. Oh, but that might. Otherwise, the game's been going pretty swimmingly. Because this party right here, Arastia, Alyssa, Ardentia, Naomi, and Dertrifa, have been able to handle the post-game, actually the entirety of the game, past the third stratum very handily. Not really a defensive party, it's mostly just hit them with an ailment and then just kill them very fast. Alari is back in the guild hall. I'm not really sure how I want to use... I've thought about using her, but I'm really not sure what party I'd want a rover in. Hunting Hound? Is that the name? I know the title you gave her was Nightingale, but there's like, for discussion's sake, I tried to use the default names so we actually know which classes we're talking about. I think it was Hunting Hound. Hound spec. So I have the Hawk spec, because the Hawk spec has a very fast, high damaging attacks. Which is kind of what we need. It's kind of our MO. We go first, we hit hard. If they don't die, we dead. It's kinda how it goes. Meanwhile, Hound Spec is more of a support role. And yeah, if you want, since I know you said you want Alaria to be more of an archer, there probably should have been a flying... Is it really called Flying Hawk? I think it's called Flying Hawk. I know Hawk's in the name. But I thought that would happen. They're not gonna make this easy. Oh no. Yeah, I think I ran into a similar issue. It's like a hunting hound is really useful early on because you get some passive healing with the hound constantly healing every turn if you don't order them to attack. You can get animal therapy, you have other healing skills, so you have like multiple healers in the party while also having someone who can attack when they're not healing. But later on, it's like you kind of don't really need a healer. In fact, you only really need half of a healer. Later on, at this point, so, I mean, yeah, I guess then Alaria could still fit the bill. But I'd rather have a Divine Herald who can buff us and heal us passively. I still have Trifa though, because only a botanist has a revival skill. Like, otherwise you have to use an item or a union skill to revive somebody mid-combat. So with Trifa here, if things go very, very south, for some reason, we can get out of that. I am doubting the skill point I put into Black Mist. Like, I know this is a useful union skill, but like, I'd want to use it on the same turn as Chain Blast, except Chain Blast requires 5 people. So I can't use Black Mist and Chain Blast at the same time. So like, I don't know when I'd actually use Black Mist.
I'll go first. Fine. How's this?
No, wait, right. Sweep the fire.
I'll go first.
Yeah, let's Ice Spec it. Do you know Fierce Shield? Fantastic. Will it protect like one person?
Quit struggling. Let's get started. Leave it to me.
Helmet? Oh, evade and bind.
This is bothersome.
Oh, that's nasty. Gotta be set up for something else.
This. I can still keep going.
Pull up and hop. What, Ardentia? Yeah. So, she is quite useful for where we're at. I don't think I'd use her in a boss killing party just because she's not... Her attack power isn't high enough that I'd want to use her in a boss party, in which case you'd go for the binds or auxiliary effects, but they also aren't powerful enough, in my mind. For randoms, she has that versatility. It's really, really a boon. We have Erastia, who is, yes, a Deathbringer, whom I didn't use much of on my first playthrough of the game. This class, that is. And now I have a hard time imagining a party without a Deathbringer. Well, that's powerful. Oh, hello. I should have put more thought into that. When will I get to map out a room? When will I stop getting tricked into teleportation? Well, I mean, I'm gonna try this out. Yep. Fucking call it. Alright. Oh, neat. I mean, at least they don't have the whole darkness mechanic. Ugh. Fuck off with that. Because I know you definitely haven't watched the VODs. The last secret area quest had us going into the third stratum. And they have a new mechanic there where you get blinded for most of the time.
Is that?
As in, it gets very dark, so it's hard to actually see, but because it's not really that debilitating, it also made you start off fully blind in combat. And on top of that, the smog that blinds you is also flammable. So if you or the enemy uses a fire attack, everything explodes. And you're still blind. And then the enemies in that area also have an accuracy debuff. Blind already gives you a 2/3 chance to miss. And on top of that, it's probably like a 50% chance to miss. What the fuck was that area? I mean, that's fine. Some small part of me is always happy when someone says that they have watched the old VODs. It's like someone cares enough to catch up. But I also know it's like 2 hours plus per... It's like a podcast length. Definitely, you definitely have to decide to watch the backlog. You don't just kind of watch it in your free time. Okay, nothing that way. Yep. Yep. A catch line for the post game. Even though the Klaxon Cicada can call in a foe, that's frankly less of a threat than whatever the fuck this thing is. That makes me feel a little bit warm and fuzzy inside. I still get to talk about the mods, by the way. I haven't worked on them or gone back to watch those VODs. I still get to talk about it because it's on my resume. So anyone talking to me about anything job-related, it's gonna come up. And I have so many stories to tell. You know, Naomi like never runs out of TP unless I start using spread chants. Let's just start using focus chant. On top of that, let's throw out some gates of hell.
Can you handle this?
Sweet panic. They call this Confusion until the 3DS titles, then they changed the name to Panic. And while I think Confusion's a better name ultimately, but I keep flip-flopping between the two because it's called Panic now, but it used to be Confusion. And change bad.
Easy enough.
I have no words for the disappointment I feel to not hear any XP bars go up. I mean, Memory Conch is still here, so I mean, people back in town are getting XP. Oh yeah, if somebody actually knows about tests, they'd be a hell of a lot more impressed. Because I've had to like rephrase my mod, like how I explain it, so that people who haven't even played a video game are impressed by it. So if I somehow get a recruiter or an interviewer or whoever who has played Oblivion, that's going to be a trip. Oh, Max Summon Wraith, that's cool. Life Exchange 5, alright. Fear Shield 5, Reincarnation, other stuff. Health? Whatever. Ah, so you do have the main rotation up. So thanks to the EO5 LP, I have learned that the main rotation for spirit brokers, and therefore how you should use them, aside from just spamming zombie powder for instant kills, is either fair trade, either zombie powder or fair trade, because you can just cheese some fights with that, or sacrifice Gates of Hell. Sacrifice Gates of Hell. Because you sacrifice a Wraith to boost your power next turn, to then cast Gates of Hell to damage the enemy, and summon a Wraith with HP proportional to damage dealt, and then sacrifice it for sacrifice to then loop the whole thing again. Not a terribly efficient attack method. It's kind of better when you can attack every turn, but whatever. Oh, and they're maxed too. That's actually good. So let's summon Wraith. Oh, that's way better than a Gates of Hell without sacrifice. Yeah. If you thought a test game was a headache to play, wait until you try to mod it. If you thought it was a headache to mod, wait until you try to code for it. Oh. Ugh. I am still disgruntled about it to this day. Okay, this here for sure will take us back. That is the wrong arrow. Question, I guess, is where? Because this should take us back to here, except unless there's a crystal in between. So if there's a crystal in here, then it'll take us to there instead. And we don't have a choice. And it goes there. Okay. to where we started.
What is that?
Yeah. uh, it's like a 70% accurate description. Because there's... So, the creation kit was designed for creating content for the game, as in making maps and making quests. And I guess to a lesser extent making NPCs. So, while it does have the coding side, so you can do some fancier things with the quests, what I did is way beyond its intended scope. So the tutorials are just like, here's how you make it. Here's how you make a quest, here's how you make a script, here's how you attach it to the quest, here's how you write the 5 lines of code you need to set the quest stage. And that's it. I just had to go, alright, here's documentation, here's a documentation for the extended construction set, and OBSE. Just always open. And whenever you're like, oh hey, I remember a mod who did something I wanted to do, how'd they do it? And that's an experience I would not wish upon another. I mean, I'm glad if you do it, because it's a hell of an experience, but like, I wouldn't wish it on another. You have to read and understand 15-year-old code written by a novice programmer who has not commented anything, or used human-readable variable names, or if they are somewhat readable, they are over-abbreviated, so you don't know what they mean. And there's no formatting. They don't tab anything. They don't put spaces in there. White space. It's... oh god. Ugh. So one bit I only tried to reverse engineer 2 mods. One to see how they tracked arrows so I could do, you know, XP handlers for bows. And another, how they cast a spell, how they had an enchantment effect that wasn't listed on the enchantment, because I wanted to do that for the growth XP handler as well, for the staves. And then, well, I'll read this. Wait for Soul Gem Fragment. Oh yeah, that stuff, that's actually really simple. Yeah, I mean, the hardest part would probably be scripting the quest itself, I guess. Setting up the quest, making any extra levels you want, and adding an NPC with a package for them to wander around. Because, like, 100 wheat, that's just a simple counter. But for an if statement to get the soul gem, or to advance to the quest stage, it gives you the soul gem fragment. And then the sword that heals enemies and damages you. I mean, you could literally handle that with the enchantment itself. Or you could use a scripted enchantment effect, or you could throw a script onto the weapon itself. Or use a listener, or as they call them in OBSE, handlers, to have an on-hit with for the weapon, and then just do the thing where you invert the damage dealt or something. Or actually make the weapon deal 0 damage, and then have the script handle all the damage itself. Yep, Melissa. But yeah, that sounds really simple to me now. Probably the hardest part for you, aside from like actually setting up the quest itself and maybe the extra areas, would maybe be scripting out the sword that heals enemies and damages you. That's definitely a pretty simple thing. That's like a one script affair. But like going through and figuring out exactly how you accomplish that would probably be the hard part, ish, I guess. Right, that goes off track what I was saying. So the two mods I looked at, one of them has 20-layer nested if statement with no white space. As in, they didn't like use enters or tabs to try and make it easier to read and differentiate. So it's just a space over to the right, not a tab over, a space over for each line. And it's just 20 conditions nested in. So it's like 40 lines of one-word lines. Ugh. Yeah. That was bad. And remember, no comments. No comments at all. The other one, I still don't understand to this day, which was how the hell they got the... actually, it's in a popular mod. Remember the Knights of the Nine expansion mod that I got? Which was, Knights of the Nine Revelation. Yes, it was through that mod. Because they have an effect with the Crusader's weapons, the sword and the mace, where if you, after a certain point in the quest line, if you hit an enemy with it, it deals fire damage, but there's no fire enchantment on the weapon. And I'm like, that's really cool. I want to do that too with my own, whole XP handler, so you don't actually see it in the enchantment list. And, oh god, that spaghetti code. I never quite understood how they did it. I have the gist of how they did it, but I couldn't recreate it. Again, no comments. I mean, their code did have some white space in it. They did go for more readable variable script names, but they were abbreviated a little bit too much in some cases. But the worst part is that they used dot assignment, which I guess is the term for it. I don't know the actual term. It's where you do script name dot var name as the syntax, and you can basically change a variable's value from anywhere, as long as you know the script and the variable name. And so the script that's actually on the enchantment, the actual entry point I had to start with, just... it's like, alright, if these two variables are true, then call this other script. And I'm like, that other script doesn't do anything of note, so then what the heck's up with these extra variables? But because they use the dot assignment, you have no idea where the fuck they're changed from. Or when they change. They just change. Here's the thing, it got more baffling the deeper in I got. Because I did have to comb through all the scripts to figure out where they reference the variables. Figure out which scripts get called and what they do. And it just got more and more baffling. I mean, what they did was wizardry, where they basically hid an entire enchantment and spell effect from the UI list, which is pretty dang cool, but like, what the fuck? What? Ugh. So the gist of how they do it is first they have a bunch of quest stage checks to make sure it actually has these effects, instead of not. That's honestly, that's part of the spaghetti part of it, that it has to check all of these checks, and it has like 4 or 6 different checks for quest stages. It's like, ugh, why do you need this many? Yes, You did that right, Alyssa. Oh, you did that right. Like, sure, you have all those checks, and then they call a bunch of other scripts, and the script... Okay, the variables were at least somewhat intelligibly named, but the scripts were not. The scripts had numbering in them, which... Yeah, that's bull. It's bull for documentation. Again, no real documentation here, no comments. And... boy. Where do I even go from hearing the explanation? Eventually I found a spell effect. Not assigned to anything. It's not an enchantment. This is the spell effect that the actual script that's assigned to the enchantment. Well, eventually, after like 3 or 4 different subscripts that just get called through either assigning variables through dot assignment or just direct calls, eventually you get this spell script called. And this spell script gets called on the enemy, but it has to be cast by something, because the engine requires caster. And the caster is not an NPC or the player, it's a statue. It's a statue object in a test chamber. It's not even loaded in. You just have this freaking statue out in the middle of nowhere in the game's code that just casts a freaking fireball spell on the enemy whenever you smack them with their sword. One error there, so but it's the comments. There shouldn't be any. That'll throw an error. Yeah, I can kind of see some of the codes. Some of the different...
Is that?
So yeah, I really wouldn't wish for anybody to read through Spaghetti Code, but it is good experience. I hope you don't have to, but if you do end up doing it, I also commend you. So yeah, that's why on the staff you have a very obvious effect on there called growth, because how the fuck did Knights of the Nine Revelation do that hidden enchantment shit? Like, again, I get the gist, but how the fuck? Taking notes. You know what? You should code a notepad.
Is something there?
Anyway, after that hell experience of reverse engineering, I solemnly vowed to thoroughly document all of my code henceforth. And that's why we have a dev journal. We have comments for every single small block of code. We have headers for everything. We have a related globals list. We have a related scripts list. We have a use scripts list. We have a use globals list. We have a list of all the variables sorted by relevance. We have proper descriptions for everything. Because I've seen what happens when you have nothing. Holy shit. And your documentation is definitely a big thing in the professional space. The devs I've talked to while getting my resume in order before I got the job, current job, it's a really, I guess it's technically a job. It's training. It's like, it's in a weird spot because it's training, but I'm getting paid. So like, am I actually hired by them? I mean, yes, actually I am. But is it like a full-time? It is technically a full-time job, but still kind of... I'm getting paid to be a student again, but it's classified as a full-time job, so it's in this weird limbo space for me mentally. Legally, it's a full-time job, though. But before that, yeah, they really stressed how great it is if you know the value of commenting. Because, oh god, like, the biggest thing that new programmers mess up on is documentation. Mostly because when you're learning, you end up making these small programs and these small projects, so you can just kind of read through it and know what it does. Or it's small enough that you just remember how everything works. So they end up, you know, going on the job, start making a gigantic project, and they just don't have the habit of documenting stuff, and then we have a far lesser version of what I went through, of somebody down the line, or they themselves down the line, have to refigure out what this code does, without any assistance besides the code itself. So documentation is a huge thing. And yeah, honestly, again, I feel like I'm starting to convince myself towards recommending people reverse engineer old mods for Oblivion. Oh god. That is one hell. Yeah, I still haven't really worked in a team yet, so I am a little reticent. Maybe that's the right word. I feel like reticent is not the right word I'm looking for, but it sounds right. But I did practice GitHub because I knew I'd need that eventually. And as far as like documentation goes, the company you work at, or whatever team you work with, they're going to have their documentation standards. They're just going to tell you, here, this is how we document things, follow it. And it's like, okay. So everybody has the same format.
That was easy.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, I think that's a good practice. What I was thinking of as I was writing my mods is that someone else needs to be able to learn from this. Not just someone else needs to be able to read my code and understand what it does, but somebody's going to use my code as a learning resource. Primarily because there's no tutorials out there, so they're just going to have to reverse engineer crap. But yeah, if you take a similar mindset of you want people to be able to teach with your code. If you take that kind of mindset with it, and I think you'll develop some good documentation habits. And that does what? Wait, how does that teleport work? Wait a minute, that's a... There's no new enemy here. The old ones. These guys aren't a threat. Keep trying to get rid of that weaker wraith. It's just not happening.
That went well.
Yeah, that's also kind of the hardest part, just getting started. Like, as soon as you can constrict your design space, it all starts going, but deciding what you want to do at first is real difficult. That's why it really helped when I had that vision of like, oh yeah, I modded in these like stronger, higher tier weapons and I want to let it look cool. And I want to use them at level 1, but they're too strong for that. And instead of doing the tedious thing of making level 1 version and level 5 version and level 10 version, let's just make one that like dynamically grows stronger. And I did that over like 6 months, maybe 7 months. It's a long time. That was full-time solo dev work. Like, that was like 8 hours a day working on it for like half a year. Ah, that goes exactly where I thought it would. Oh, back to start. We have been duped. I guess one thing that might help is, what would you use yourself? Like, sure, there's cool project ideas of like, what if this existed, or what if I did this for other people, or like this would look good on a resume, but just start with like, what's something I'd actually use for myself? And make it for yourself, and then release it to the public, which is, again, this is just what I did with making Shurifen, Nagramon, and Desphagon and Zephyros. It's just, I made it for myself, and then I also released it to the public, and then we just take it from there. I have no idea if this thing will go berserk if we kill all the lesser mobs around it. That's kind of a theme with these hidden area enemies. It's like they pack in the enemies that are way weaker than us at this point, but a much tougher enemy that goes really buck wild if we kill the weaker ones. So, I don't know. This might be a bad idea. Or it's panic. Never mind. Hey, finally got rid of Wraith. And some Wraith. Yeah, that's a longer-ish. Well, if you can customize the bot without a web interface, then you could do a limited release. And by limited, that again may not be the correct official term, but just like release it to people you know, rather than just like a big old, hey public, here's my bot. So that way you can, other people start using your work. Maybe you start getting feedback, maybe not. Because, I mean, they're like friends, family, acquaintances, they know you, they may not want to... May just go like, eh, it's a bot. And others may actually use it a lot. And then afterwards you can start developing on the web interface. So I do know my server could use a bot, because I don't have one set up. And I haven't really bothered to even look into setting up a bot. So yeah. I mean, if your bot has some functionality I could use, I'd use it. Alright, let's see if we get the panic again. Flame bomb's not great TP efficiency. Fair trade's only really useful to zombie powder, and you don't know zombie powder. Either she burns through all of her TP or she's useless. My word. I knew Spirit Brokers were in an awkward spot, but wow. I already got targeted, though. Why do I need Wraith Cry? And if we do Sacrifice, that's like setting up for next turn, but there shouldn't be a next turn. Oh well, Wraith Bomb. Oh hey, it doesn't go berserk if the other ones go down. That's cool.
Wonder what that is.
It is here. Well, as I've never even looked into bots, I do know I'd want something to help with automating Discord notifications for my at-stream pings, as well as role assignment. Although, I'd need more hard criteria for what makes a blue horn versus a green horn. Because it's kind of just like a how well do I feel I know you, or in more concrete terms, I guess it's like how often you chat on stream, but it's more so a measure of... yeah, kind of wishy-washy. Initially I was thinking like, oh, if you've been here for a week, if you've been here for like a month, you're a blue horn. If you've been here for like a year, you're a red horn or whatever. But, it's gotten more wishy-washy. Could automate the Space Onion roll, though. That's for birthdays. I haven't added a Space Onion roll to anybody in a long time, so I just have not kept track. Oh, also a bot that could potentially automate making Aya's. Because the deal with Aya is and automate pinning it too. Because for navigation's sake, I have like every 5th song posted get pinned, so that way you have a faster mode of navigation besides scrolling up through them one by one. You can scroll up through them 5 by 5. But there's a max pin limit, so when that pin limit gets reached, we then move on to the next IA. So automating that would be nice. Yeah, that... I figure it could be a username match, but they could also have Twitch integration. Because I'm assuming, I haven't looked into it on Discord itself, but there probably is an integration between Discord and Twitch where you can link your accounts. Yeah, that too. It's like the usernames tend to be similar but not matching. But yeah, managing and potentially stream pings. The only thing that I kind of not quite sure if I could want automated for about stream pings is the actual message itself. Because doing it manually does mean I have to come up with a little something to say along with it. Okay, want me to repeat any? I'm just gonna use explosion. Fuck it. Actually, ice pick too. And earth spike. Let's just use all the AoE. Okay, that's good. Not interrupted. Yeah, I was worried if I used an... Okay, so if you kill the crystal thing, then the pole hammer guy in the back's gonna do a whole wombo combo move using the crystal thing's corpse.
Is something there?
So I was, of course, worried that I'd end up triggering it accidentally if I did an AoE thing, like it would interrupt the AoE. But nah. Nah, that's not what happens. Hey, back here. And it seems like a dead end. That's a rip. Then how in the flip am I supposed... Oh, is it am I still on the right path? Might be. I am sure they probably did. I'm absolutely positive those docks got updated, because if it's a widely used platform, I'm pretty sure they got devs working on keeping it updated. And as time goes on, things tend to improve, but not necessarily. So I'm pretty sure they probably got better. No guarantees, though. Hold up, that's a... Little hidden sneaky path there. There's a crystal there. I wonder where the Lamia's chamber is. Ah, yeah, that kind of sounds about right. Okay. There's the... Oh, that goes to an unknown place. Alright, cool. Okay, so you have two one-ways. Got a crystal teleport to someplace I don't know, and a path teleport. Alright, let's not bother with explosion. Takes too much TP. Actually, about that TP. Keep forgetting about mana heal.
My turn.
Do I have to?
I'll pitch
I'll help out.
Nice back. That's kind of usable.
Are you ready for this?
I think it restores like 2% of total TP,
That was easy.
which is a really small amount, and it uses up 4 people, so it's really inefficient. But it is TP restore. Can't deny that.
Is something there?
They're just putting him in odd spots now, aren't they? Oh, loot. Would you looted that? How do we get out? Bunch. Is that resistance to all binds like 75%? Yep. 75% resistance to all. Oh. Well, I think that's a pretty strong hint about what the boss is about. Oh, and now we're back to... Okay. Well, also, it kind of bothers me there's this empty spot here. That bothers me. It bothers me because, like, I've played through all the games, so I kind of know where they can and can't place walls, and seeing they, like, never have empty space in the walls. Well, I'm glad you're making progress. It's happy to see you around here, and you're always welcome. Also, feel free to stop by the Discord. You stop by there even less frequently, I think. Just 15 minutes left, though, but yes. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, and... I don't know what unit of time to measure, because I can't predict when I'll see you again. Yeah, I mean, the chats aren't that terribly active in there either. But still, it's a place. I kinda knew once I mentioned 15. Yeah. Well, it's a rough 15, I'll correct it now. Not an exact thing. I try to end at 2200, but... well, if it ends up going longer, it ends up going longer. I currently have half a feeling that we're going to run out of TP before we find the right path. But we have discovered a lot of dead ends, though. Welcome from the dish plane, Alyssa. Alright, that's your choice.
Is something there?
But with your wireless headphones, Alyssa, I know full well you've been listening in. Now, where do I need to go? Oh. Oh, I've made the wrong turn again. Gosh darn it. How do I even... Oh, okay, I need to use the... I either need to color code the right path or I need to make an auto path. I'm gonna make an auto path. Yeah, I used to have paper plates in my house too, mostly because I think... Yeah, I don't think I mentioned to you specifically, but I think I casually mentioned it that my brother moved out, like, 2 months ago now? Towards the end of last year. And, like, before we had a lot of paper plates, because he'd have, like, 4 meals a day. So he made a lot of dishes. And he'd kind of just not bring them down until, like, 2 days later, all at once. So my mom got fed up with cleaning all the dishes, and she's like, yep, paper plates, just toss them. It's really convenient. Now we're back to using actual plates. Oh, yeah, I guess to go briefly onto a gloomier topic, the thing that has the biggest impact on environments are the factories that produce shit. More precisely, the processes they have in regards to making stuff, which you don't really directly influence. You have a pretty small impact on the environment. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. It wasn't the fastest way back, though. Metal straws. It's the one thing that is still plastic in this house.
Can you handle this?
Oh, it's over already?
I guess I'll post it in Discord later, so I'm not entirely sure why I'm going to ask it here now again, if I already asked it at the beginning of stream. I'm thinking of turning Friday into, like, a free day as far as games are concerned. So, like, I'll stream the long-term game 2 days a week, and then the third day is just whatever I feel like streaming that day. Right now I'm thinking Friday will be that day, but I'm not totally sold yet. Or rather, I'll probably cast up to a vote. Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I've really used metal straws. I've always had plastic straws. I know metal straws exist. They are not a novel concept to me, but I don't think I've ever really used them. I just get the back line. Hey, Mirna actually killed something. Speaking of, yeah, health. Wait, what? Ah, I thought that was Tartrifa.
I didn't ask for this. What is that?
So it's not that way. Aha! I did make a mapping error. Wait, What? Never mind. At least it's filled in. I can't say I've really been to a restaurant in, at the very least since COVID started, and probably very rarely even before then. As it stands right now, I drink primarily from mugs because the handles are convenient. The only time I really use straws is for milkshakes, which are also a rare thing at the moment. New area. New dead end to get duped by.
Is that?
Here's when this. I mean, if I remembered the boss fight, and I thought we had a party that I could easily win, then I think I'd do it this stream, but for now, either stop when we get to the boss or stop when we have to turn back. Now, by one person, was that an employee, a customer, or a friend / acquaintance? There's a bit of a difference there. Degrees of severity.
This is gonna hurt.
Oh, it's over already?
Now, check. Cool. There's a spot there. And not a spot here.
Is something there?
That's why it's like that. You know, lately I've been getting nostalgic for a variety of games, and by variety I mean like 2 series in specific. I did have nostalgia for 4, that seems kind of past now, and now I'm starting to get a little nostalgic for Nexus. But also I've been getting really nostalgic for Mega Man Battle Network, to the point where I've been watching some tournaments that happened like last month. Because apparently it's still it's the only esports on the GBA, and it's still going. There's still a scene. And I never played the final entry. It apparently came out in like the same year as the 5th entry, and I never heard about it, so I never got it. So I never played it, and I could play it now with an emulator, but I really want to play it on a cartridge, and if I want to get it on a cartridge, I'm going to have to shell out like at least $75 for one. And there's 2 versions. It's going to be expensive and a bit difficult to find someone who's not trying to scam me, but maybe not so on the second part. As long as it doesn't seem like unbelievably cheap, it's probably true. Anywho, let's use a bit of mana heal.
I'll help out.
Yeah, I suppose let's use that. Target arrow, fireball, snap that, flam bomb.
Leave it to me.
Yeah, I could post some Mega Man Battle Network stuff, but it seems like most, if not all of you, haven't really heard of it. So may or may not be interested in it. Therefore, I have refrained from posting it and didn't report. But yeah, I have seen a lot of stuff.
Time to show off.
Really not much like it. I'm not even sure what fucking genre it is. Such an eclectic mishmash that just works together so goddamn well.
One to go.
What is it, like a strategic grid-based fighter or something? The main draw of it is the combat system, so I won't talk much about the story. If you go in there and you want a good story, I guess play 3, maybe 6. Because I haven't played 6, but like 3 definitely has a strongest or stronger stories in the series. But you're there mostly for the combat system. I'm debating whether to find a video of the combat system, show it, but so there's a lot of elements to it that, depending on how well I can explain it, may sound like a lot, but it's not really overwhelming. It's all pretty intuitive, which is part of what makes it very fun. But it's a lot of different elements together, so it combines trading card with turn-based battles, with grid-based combat, with real-time, also a little bit of a fighter game in there. And it's primarily PvE, but there's still PvP to it. I mean, you can like battle your friends kind of PvP, not like required PvP for the story. So each battle starts off at, I guess I should explain the term then, chip, because you're going to hear that a lot. That's basically a card or an attack. You have battle chips, which are basically the cards you play in any kind of card game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering. Different name, same thing functionally. And of course you have a deck, we call it a folder. So, at the start of a battle, you have you and the enemies load in onto the grid. And the game pauses as it goes into the chip selection screen. So you can see in the background where the enemies are and what you're fighting. And you have 5 chips selected randomly from your folder. Choose from your hand. And you have to decide which chips you want to use for this turn. Now there are restrictions on picking the chips, like every chip has a letter code to it. And so once you pick chips, they either have to be the same type, like they have to be multiple cannon chips, or they have to be the same letter. Like, I don't know if they actually have the same letter codes, but cannon S, sword S, and then shield S. Otherwise, you can't choose those chips together on that turn. So they're strategizing in that, choosing what chips you want to use, and then once you've selected the chips you want to play this turn, you, of course, confirm that selection, and then it transitions into a real-time battle on the grid. We're moving on a grid. And you have a B button for Buster, which you always have, and it's pretty weak. It can get decent later on with enough upgrades, but starts off pretty weak, dealing 1 point of damage, when a cannon chip does like 40. And the A buttons use your chips in the order you selected them. So now you're fighting in real time against the enemy on the terrain. You can only move on your half of the grid space, they can only move on their half of the grid space. So there's reflexes involved in the real-time battle in terms of dodging attacks and lining up your chips, and then a strategic element in building your folder and choosing what chips you have available. It's akin a bit to a fighter game because the chips aren't just instantly used, they play an animation before their hitboxes or whatever other effects activate, which means there's frame data to go for, so it's not, so you can actually react to what your opponent does, assuming your connection to PvP isn't horrible. You fight until, of course, you win when the enemy runs out of HP, you lose when you run out of HP. But once the turn started, there's a custom gauge at the top of the screen that slowly fills. And once that gauge is full, the turn's over. You go back, the action pauses, you go back to the chip select screen and choose from your current hand what chips you want to play in the next turn. I really feel like I should shoot. Gosh. I haven't watched any short term. Wait a minute. There was the one tournament I watched recently. I could probably play a bit of that. If I can find it in my history. Let's see. Ah, there's a boss run with no damage, but that does highlight some of the skill you can use, but not quite how it would normally play out, because they're obviously not going to take any damage. Let's see. Yeah, there are like a number of boss showcases I could find for this, but you have a hard time knowing what's going on if you don't already know what's going on. I didn't fully watch through this, or actually I barely started it because I was watching another segment of it, but yeah, the esports scene is actually playing through the 6th version of the game. The final one that I never got to play.
Your folder is just...
You know what I mean? Pause that so that way you can actually hear some of the commentary, which may help you. So as I was saying, you have the chip to select, the different letter codes for it. There are more in-depth mechanics and nuance to it than I explained, but that should have given you the basics.
Very well versed and has so many burst options, and I even think that you can abuse the fast gauge to your own liking to help see those combo pieces way faster.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Pablo would pop fast gauge first.
No, not at all.
Dropping it first will definitely end up with the game on slow gauge, and there's not going to be a turn 15 at that point. Ooh, so Dust versus Slash here.
Turn 1 trying to push advantage as best as possible, but now hard walled by an unfortunate... Oh, this will still get 3 hits. Alright, cool. By an unfortunate barrier 200 versus life order change here, but you end up winning if you can connect at least 2 of these charge shots. Nice, nice. There's the 2 shots. And the D-cross. The very bad start already.
Yeah, Pablo losing one of the main offensive options in his folder. That slash cross would have been really consistent high DPS with that current area control he has. Unfortunately, he does take those 2 charge shots that knock off the barrier 200, and they do that D-cross.
It's unfortunate is I can't think of a video to show that isn't high-level gameplay, so it's be a bit hard to understand. But hopefully you at least get a gist of what it's like.
We see the chat thundering with the appearance of Charlie, our lovable Scrap Reborn Golem. We all love Charlie. Let's go, Charlie. Let's go. thinking about going into Tengu here. Very interesting. I wonder why. What's the thought process here?
Well, he just lost his slash cross, so there's no longer that option. He's got no sword chips in the rest of his folder. He's got nothing, no swords at all actually, other than the slash. So Tengu would be safe here, and I'm predicting that he will want to go into erase, seeing as how I'm in dust. Oh, but he does go into Daric instead.
Ooh, nice! Connecting to Justice 1 will get rid of the barrier and create these cracked holes, which is what Pablo was waiting for. So actually going into the the Tengu Cross here was perfect prediction to avoid getting trapped up. Anti-recovery does go down, and it will trigger, denying the rest of the other anti-recovery in the folder and doing the damage here as well. Very nice. This puts a nice hefty clock on Pablo now, which is
there's around 200 to 300 battle chips in each game, so there's a lot of options when it comes to your deck building.
Pablo must have not realized that that was my only trap.
Which does make it also more confusing to watch, because they do have all the chips available.
Right? Because that trap coming down, literally, you can't really predict it when it's going to happen, and it just so happened to be in hand right as you pull this recover and you want to use it. Pablo starting on the back foot in this match, but definitely not behind at all, as the tides can easily turn in an instant. Sanctuary gonna be one of those factors that will help boost the narrative, but in hand, Nerith has the get-in that will immediately defeat the Sanctuary. Oh, it's looking worse and worse as time goes on, and the buff damages just piling up from these feathers here. Thankfully, Nerith doesn't have a way to deal with air shoes here, so there won't be any trapping shenanigans going on, but man, is this tough.
Yeah, it's important to note that Pablo basically has the one remaining recovery 300.
One of the interviews where they tried to explain how the battle system works, one person did actually compare it to chess.
And having only lost about...
And oddly enough, in at least one of the games, there are chips that let you summon chess pieces to use as obstacles.
Not much damage was done here at all. Pound grab will come down here, and the area grab as well. Be coming in to take away another resource available to Pablo here. Man, this is really tough. Oh, but Geddon comes into play here. What's the play with your Geddon here?
Oh, that was Pablo's Geddon.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of speaking aloud.
I'm not sure what the Geddon was for. Probably just to keep the keep his folder moving.
I'm surprised of the lack of beast out coming out from Pablo here. Deciding to save it instead. I think chip charges would have been a lot valued here, a lot more valued here than just staying in charge here. Like, maybe beast charging away the Geddon would have been good.
So this is probably going to be a fast gauge turn, because Pablo does have the fast gauge regged. But unfortunately that's answered by Meteor Knuckle.
Knock knock, it's Knuckles. Yeah, that was a very rough game one for Pablo here, but that does not mean the game is over by any means. What Pablo really needs to do here now is adjust the playstyle and hopefully not get the same reads that Nerith had. You know, those reads were what put you in the differential in the first place. So playing up or changing up the strategy, trying to shake things up would probably be the most advantageous thing to do here, but I'm not sure how Pablo will do that, so we'll just have to wait and see. Oh no, is that a double area grab in hand with a Tengu? Windwrack will connect here. I think it's rather interesting. Okay, so I think Pablo's thinking here was correct, right? So what ends up happening is you either predict that Tengu comes out or you predict that Beast Out comes out, right? So I think Pablo predicted that instead of Tengu, Beast Out would happen. So Pablo opted not to go for Slash. I think that was interesting.
Yeah, so the chips that dim the screen, of course, freeze time for both you and your opponent, which make them undodgeable. You just have to tank them. But, however, I don't think it was present in all of the endgames, but definitely in the later ones. If your opponent uses a dimming chip, you can also use your own and interrupt it to use it first.
To help mindgate a lot of the damage that Nerith wants to push out.
So say your opponent uses a Navi chip to call down someone to help do the attack, you can use your own dimming chip like an Invis to make yourself invulnerable, and therefore negate the damage you take from that Navi chip.
For the Element Man. Oh, this is really tough. Area grab coming down as well. And Rush near the end of the turn at a position that Nerith can't quite reach, so this is perfectly fine. Oh, but the Dust Suck! And the 1P shot. Boop.
If you set up the right combos, you can deal like 1,000 damage in a single go with some of the best the more powerful combos, so HP can really swing wildly in either direction.
Which isn't looking likely at this point with how many area grabs have already.
It tends to be steady because you really do have to get lucky with your hand draws as well as set them up to actually hit. But yeah, it's possible to turn back from a huge HP lead.
Wow. Exposed. What do you think is the best cross to chip charge in for Falzar? Is it Tengu, do you believe?
I am definitely biased towards Tengu.
It has excellent range, can do a significant amount of damage just based on positioning alone. How much is it per hit? I believe it's 100.
Oh, maybe 10 minutes. Okay. I think I'll let this match play out, and
exactly how much it is. I think it's more than 100. Yeah.
Maybe I'll let this match play out and then go back to EO5.
Says 130 at attack max. I think
So I can just post this in the report.
120 at attack 4, which is what I'm running here.
Yeah, there you go. Interruption with the
Able to get this area grab in
dimming
time?
chip.
No.
Of course. Made the wrong call there.
There goes the Beast Out, and here comes the rain with all the Tengu breaths coming out here. And finally, Charge Cross makes an appearance. And a full cust.
So Pablo
Yeah.
should be able to step out of the Gundam Soul here, but he did lose his invis to it. The Gundam Soul removes the blinking effect from invis.
I'm a little shocked that you decided not to change crosses there. But I guess keeping Tengu is for the best. There goes one whiff. Not enough time to get out the second one, but we do see these Mega Booners here, which will change terrain and get rid of a lot of these Sanctuary panels, leaving Pablo with only 2 left. And Meteor Knuckles as well will help deal with a lot. Oh no. Okay, so if you want to get this panel grab, oh, okay. So a panel grab in the center here, combined with Meteor Knuckles, would be maximum damage if provided Pablo's in that corner there. But that shouldn't be too hard since you have the Tengu back B, which can pull people forward. But maybe that's too greedy to go for right now. Oh, but you want to do it so bad. This is hilarious.
So I'm loading up this panel grab just because I want to try to create a kind of weird position and take this one holy panel for myself.
Oh, so you want to max greed. Wow. So you actually kind of wanted to smash the center there. And that would have dealt with all the holy panels.
Yeah, I did miss that, unfortunately.
But the anti-recover finally comes down here. It'd be interesting to see if Pablo held on to Erase Man and the one machine gun in his folder, so that way he can deny that anti-recovery, which would actually be very smart. That anti-recover was the bane of his existence in that first round, so maybe waiting on this machine gun would be better. Element SP will decross here for double damage and take away that sanctuary panel. Here comes the anti-recovery. Okay, he checked. That was the charge shot checking to see what the trap was. Okay, this is interesting. I do predict that machine gun will come out this next turn. Alright, slow gauge is finally in play here, as is Slash Cross. Life Orb comes out. Interesting to camp forward and take those hits. Pablo is not moving. Very well aware of the ×2 numbers in your folder. Judgment will come out here, taking back those panels. It's slowly looking good for Pablo. Finally taking a life lead too. Oh yeah, this is looking really rough.
Yeah, this
No
is
longer
also
have-
the end of my folder here. These are my last 6 chips here.
There's literally, for you to remove Life Aura here, no access to Tengu. You really need to hit this double damage on Bamboo Sword to potentially get back into this game.
Unfortunately, Pablo still has Kernel Force up his sleeve too, so it's very likely that's going to be coming out in one of these next turns. So I've got some limited time to work with. If I could squeeze in the ×2 Bamboo Sword and then get a Meteor Knuckle after removing his anti-damage, then there would be an option here, but...
Nice! Nice, nice, nice. Surviving the turn, but only 15 HP! Oh, one Buster Shot will do it! This definitely... Oh! Oh no! Mid wind-up too! Oh jeez, game 3 here.
Alright, that'll be it for now. I'll post this immediately in case you want to watch it. This is a tournament that happened... Oh, April last year. You know, there were also tournaments that happened like December of last year too. Does it have it as max or normal? I think normal. That was hopefully you saw how fun and in-depth that game can be. whole series. I would recommend, as far as the number entries go, there's 1, 2, blue has a white and blue version. Not too much difference between the two. It's like a couple of different bosses and like a handful of chips you can only get in one versus the other. There's 4 Blue Moon and Red Sun, which have more differences between the two, but it's also kind of the lowest quality of the whole series. It feels like they're trying to capitalize on newfound popularity with that one and rush the release. 5, there's Team Colonel and Team Proto Man, which had its own unique mechanics, and then there's 6, Falzar and Gregar, which are the final entries, so that people either have 3 or 6 as their favorites. Yeah, it does get very, very difficult later on. It doesn't start off that hard. It starts off with some very, very slow enemies with low HP, so it's very easy to... It very much eases you into it, but there is a curve to it, and especially towards the... By the final boss, if not by the post-game, things will get very difficult, and you will really need to know how to dodge attacks. Like, dodging becomes paramount to staying alive. And it's also really satisfying. Like, it's... I don't know if with dimming chips, but definitely without dimming chips, it is possible to dodge everything. Like, nothing's really undodgeable unless it's a dimming chip. One that freezes time. Oh, hello there, boss. I know where your chamber is. And because I knew it, I could tell there's a shortcut here. Where does that take me? Huh. Oh, okay. So, this crystal will take me to there, and then I'll go here and teleport there. And then I'll be right in front of the boss, probably. So we're actually pretty close. Let's just map out this dead end. Head back to town. Because, I mean, we're definitely past stream end time. But yeah, I actually own every version of games 1 through 5. 4 is definitely the least enjoyable, even though 1's the roughest. 3 and 6 are the best, but I never played. As I said, I never knew it existed until years and years later. I was sad about that. Late packets there. Okay, the connection's starting to go bad, so I guess it's also a good time to end it. I'll head back to town. Oh gosh, that's screen cancer. Yeah, it's like a 385 bit rate. God. It's been like a week since the bitrate was this bad. It should recover, because it hasn't been like this all night. Albeit slowly, though. Always slow. So yes, I played the most out of 3. I wanted to enjoy 4, but I just couldn't really bring myself to in the end. And I think I was too burnt out on 4 to really dig that deep into 5. And 1 and 2, 1's just... It is enjoyable, but the maps all very much look similar, and they're very hard to navigate. And with 2, it's a bit easier to navigate, but 3 is where it really refined it even more.
Good to see. What are you selling? selling.
So yeah, I don't know which one is a good starting point into the series.
Thank you. Come again.
It is kind of a continuous story. It's because it's made for like it's written towards children because it's kind of aimed to be like a Pokemon version of Mega Man. So don't expect grade A writing that has one big overarching epic plot, but there's a tiny bit of continuity between them.
Do you want to save? How can I be of service? I hope to see you back soon.
Anywho, I should call it here and think up what the good entry point into Mega Man Battle Network would be off stream, because this connection probably doesn't want to hold much longer. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, if I see you. It's been a pleasure. Have you well.